exposed, and they're not hearing the. Now they have no idea why this guy just blowing down the right-hand side, clipping that curve over to the number 1 lane, and now it's wide open area going downhill back into the Whittier area. So right now we've heard that CHP has now declined to take over this pursuit from the sheriffs, and so it's going to stay with the LA County Sheriffs. And I don't know if there's any Whittier units still involved in it or not. Mostly I'm looking down and seeing SUVs that resemble the sheriff's units from this altitude. We have to stay at this point to not interfere with the sheriff's air units that are overhead because of the altitude of these hills coming down. But right now we're coming down into the Whittier area through the Colima Pass. You see very high rate of speed downhill run here. And this comes down to a very sharp turn at the bottom where there's a lot of traffic down here. So we'll have to see what happens. If he has a lot of speed into this turn, he may have a problem. But right now, working his way down. So let me work with Fullerton Aerospace here and try to work my way in, and I'll be off and let you have it there, Micah.
You got it. We're following again to reset this, a robbery suspect in this pickup truck. This initially began in the city of Whittier and made its way over the hill into the city of Industry, and then has now returned. And this suspect has been going very fast on surface streets, primarily through the industrial parts of the city of Industry, and back now into the city of Whittier. And that looks like a Whittier police officer there who is now behind this suspect. This had been a sheriff's department chase. It began as a Whittier PD chase, switched over to the LA County Sheriff's Department, their jurisdiction over in the city of Industry and Hacienda Heights as well, and now back into Whittier, just crossing Mar Vista on Colima, heading southbound. Now the next major intersection will be Whittier Boulevard. But it appears that was a Whittier Police Department black and white that was in that intersection there, very close to Mar Vista and Colima. You may recall that being the intersection where a Whittier police officer, Keith Boyer, was tragically shot and killed not so long ago. That same area as this robbery suspect now moves southbound, and he's driving with reckless abandon through red lights and stop signs, 60, 70 miles an hour on surface streets at a very tough time of day for commuters. Many people using this Colima Pass to make their way from the San Gabriel Valley into Whittier and Santa Fe Springs and beyond. Shortcut down to the 5 freeway as well. This would be Whittier Boulevard. He's going to continue through that intersection now and continue southbound on Colima as he's been weaving. We've seen him weave in and out of traffic and blow through intersections. He hasn't hit any cars that we have seen to this point, but obviously the way he's driving, that could change in a hurry. Tim is with us in Sky 5. Tim,
not sure. They haven't given us the count of the folks inside the car, but you see he just turned off Colima into a residential track. And this is pretty much a tight area here. It's going to have to make a right-hand turn, and that's going to bring him back around. There'll be another right-hand turn here real quick that he's going to have to make because it's a closed area. So right now, no telling what he's up to. But yeah, you're right. This guy is just flying the mail through here. Luckily, we haven't had a crash at this point. And now turning back westbound here, we'll try to get in this neighborhood. But this is just to the south of Whittier Boulevard and just to the west of Colima. He's in this neighborhood. You saw just as we checked out and let you take over, he went through that parking lot. He's been driving like that kind of strangely, pulling up next to people and now racing along. I'm going to try to bring Sky 5 up inside of him here, see if we can peek inside that car. But due to the fact we got the sheriff's overhead and doubled up where they have one high and one low, we have to kind of keep it up. We're on what? We're southbound on Mill Street here, coming back down. And here we go, coming up to the intersection here is major. I'm not sure if this is Imperial or not. No, we're still north of Imperial. Try to listen to the sheriff's dispatcher as well, as long as my cameraman Tim Decken feed me information from the backseat. Coming up to the intersection here, we're going to take the wrong side of the street to get around. It looks like he's going to push through and continue southbound here along Mill. And that'll take you down here to Imperial, which is a major east-west that goes through here. So, yeah, unknown what's going on. I really can't tell if there's another person in there or not. We're trying to get the information from the sheriffs, but they're, as you know, they're a little bit busy right now dealing with the pursuit. And so here we go, coming down to, is this Imperial we're coming to? Coming up to Mulberry now. He's slowing down again.
No.
Holding here, going to the intersection and turning to the west now on what Tim is telling me is Mulberry, and continuing now westbound, pushing through. And as we continue now westbound on Mulberry, and waiting for the sheriffs to come in. But yeah, these guys, the sheriffs are pretty much way behind. I think the thing with the Whittier PD just happened to be in the area, knew it was coming, so it was kind of positioning myself. But now turned back to the north here into the res track off of Mulberry, and the sheriffs are now in behind pretty close as they make the turn now. They're now making the turn going north behind him. And so at this point, if they get him trapped in an area, then that's where we're might see a pit maneuver or a spike strip or something of that sort where they can kind of predict his direction. But he's coming back up. There's a unit kind of sitting right there backing up. Oh, he kind of turned towards that unit, and you see the officer getting out with his gun and then kind of pulling away and working its way back up to and working its way back up to the and working its way back up to the next major intersection here. So he's coming back up here. We'll see what he does when he gets up here to the light. And going to make turning westbound Lambert. So continuing on. But you saw kind of a dangerous thing there where he kind of slowed and kind of veered towards that police car as not knowing what he's thinking, but the officer taking reactive measures there, coming out with his weapon. But the guy luckily turned away. So westbound Lambert here, and you can see one person in there. Now I'm getting in kind of a good position where maybe I can peek through that front windshield here to look inside if we could. Don't see anybody on that passenger side. Mike, if you can help me out with that larger monitor in here, that
yeah,
helps.
he looks to be alone in that pickup truck, making these decisions on his own. Can't really tell if he's on a cell phone. Oftentimes they'll call those close to them to try and talk through a strategy or try and make sense out of something that's really doesn't make sense, running from the police. What's the protocol, Tim, on this with Whittier PD? Obviously, in Whittier jurisdiction, LA County Sheriff's Department has been the lead agency for the last several minutes, but then we saw that Whittier PD with black and white jump in right behind this guy.
Well, it's all up to the PDs down here. They'll talk among themselves as far as the watch commanders to see who wants to take it. But more than likely, the sheriffs are going to stay with us since they have the manpower behind it and the air units overhead able to talk to him. Unless he gets into an area and just stays there, then Whittier would probably stay. But I guarantee you, Whittier is back there in that group of police cars that's following him, just keeping track of this. But the control and command of the pursuit will more than likely stay with the sheriffs due to the fact they have their air units overhead and they do have resources following it. And the direction and the distance this guy has gone at this point, it'd be better for the sheriffs to handle it so they can trade it off from area to area. But right now, we're talking about that cell phone. They call home. They call the police. We've had them to where they call the police, tell you stop chasing me, I'll pull over. And also too, they also try to set up things with somebody else to help them out so they can get out and take off. Like we witnessed in Burbank a couple weeks back, where the guy abandoned the car frame in that pickup truck, and the second pursuit took off. So you never know what they're going to do, and that's one of the things that I watch out for up here in Sky 5 reporting is if I see spike strips or something coming up, or if I hear something going on, I won't report it being set, because if he's on the phone with somebody, they can warn him of a spike strip or a roadblock coming. But right now he's turning north on Santa Fe Springs from Lambert, just really slow now, and the units are now catching up with him. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 police cars behind him. Most look like sheriff's SUVs, and we're kind of peeking in the window now to see what he's up to and see if he's on that phone. But it does look like he's talking, gesturing with his left hand.
Yeah.
And maybe he's out of gas, or because he has slowed way down, and or he's talking.
See him working his way through a heavily trafficked area, trying to weave his way through there, and now kind of almost coming to a stop in the middle of this intersection. But the officers from Whittier PD in number right behind the helicopter right above. Moving. Greenleaf. Mar Vista. Oh, definitely. It looks like he's on the phone right there. We're trying to get some of these street names for you. I can tell you that we saw that he's coming up on Mar Vista. He might be on Greenleaf. That might be the street out here. And you can clearly see him on the phone out there, making those weird hand gestures, throwing some stuff out the window. You think those were the keys? He's talking to somebody on the phone. If that's the case, then he's definitely getting ready to give himself up. But definitely throwing stuff out the window. We can see him still clearly talking on the phone. Don't know who he's talking to though. But we haven't seen any officers really close by. So it kind of makes me wonder why he would throw the keys out. Oh, that's why he threw the keys out. There you go. Miracle of the camera, huh, guys? So anyway, a number of officers right there behind him. These guys not playing around. We see some heavy artillery in those officers' hands. This obviously started out as an armed robbery suspect. So this person may have a gun. That's the reason why these officers are so tense and on heightened alert. Him getting out of that vehicle, even though he threw those keys, if he has that cell phone in his hand, it's going to be a very dangerous situation indeed. I would recommend that he puts everything down before he makes those moves. But right now, being very ginger about it, putting down some keys, but he's still on that phone there. But it does definitely seem like it's coming to an end out here. I'm guessing that this is either going to be Greenleaf or Philadelphia, and near the cross of Mar Vista in the Whittier area. Definitely coming to an end now. That vehicle stopped. That person putting the one hand up in the air. But these officers, they want to see both hands where they can feel safe to take this person into custody. And as long as he's talking on that phone, there we go. So now it's really starting to de-escalate here. But the officers from Whittier PD don't have the cuffs on him yet, so this is definitely not over. What's up? We gotta go. We're still on the web. I had to be quiet there because the anchors are talking, and I was just going to let you guys know we had to bail because of fuel. And now that we are flying off, we're going to be probably going to, my guess,